Fuzzy here. It is June 11th, 2021. We are in Red Oak, Iowa, and look what we've got here today. This is a 2009 Royal Enfield Bullet 500. It's a little modified. Over yonder is a Ural with a sidecar. These are the Royal Enfield is a 500cc, a little warm, $4.99 I think. Overhead valve, 27 horsepower, 30 foot-pounds of torque, single cylinder. It's got a 5-speed gearbox. Actually, I've been driving it. I couldn't get myself to stop. I was just having so much fun with it. The engine is fuel injected on this model. The earlier ones are carbureted. Electric start. You can get an option for a Kickstarter on this one. Some of the older ones have that. This is the air filter on this side. This is a tool kit. Little key drive to get them open. On this side, it's electronics. Batteries right here. Other fuses and things in there. It's got just a pair of shocks on the back end. Normal telescoping forks on the front. Drum brake on the rear. This one has a disc on the front. I've been driving it and I felt like the brakes worked great. Now he's done a lot of, well, let's go to the fuel tank. I think it has a 4-gallon fuel tank. And these are supposed to get 60 or 70 miles a gallon, so it's quite a bit of range. A little look at the dash here. Fuel light. Anyway, nifty. He's got the tiger eyes right on top here. I think that's the stock muffler, isn't it? Well, we've got the Buck Rogers tailpiece on the end. That gives you a little more speed. He took the blinkers off the back and put these bullets here on. Give it a better look. Added the bags, added the rear seat, had the pegs on it already. Spoke wheels. I drove it around town and just had a blast on it. Like I said, I couldn't get myself off of it. It's the kind of bike, it doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but it has all kinds of torque. And it was never lacking, you know. I never had to worry about giving it the juice to, you know, keep things going. It just always had enough power. I bet even with a passenger it would do pretty good. So he's done a lot of add-ons to this. He raised this up on the front here. A lot of brass grips, brass levers. These good-looking brass mirrors. Little brass accents down through here. Of course, the tailpipe and the tail light. Oh, brass bolts. A lift handle for putting it on its center stand. It does have a center stand. Rock guard. Pedestrian splitter. Anyway, good looking bike. We were talking about the fit and finish on it, and I think it looks very good. And he was telling me that being it's an early Indian, you know, bike from India, a lot of the things don't quite fit like they should. But you know, when you look at it, I think the paint looks like it's a very high quality. You know, you can feel how it's raised everywhere. This is a sticker here. But anyway, I had a lot of fun riding it, and we're gonna go ride it some more, and I'm gonna enjoy that. But if you've never ridden one, you need to get yourself on one. They are a hoot to ride. The kind of bike, I don't know how to describe the experience. It's just a lot of fun, you know. It's just real entertaining. I don't know if you'd want to go out on the highway with it. Have you had it on the highway?
It'll do 65, 70, but it's screaming. You wouldn't want to do it for more than 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, just driving around town, the higher the RPMs, the shakier it got, you know. It vibrates more as it speeds up. I drove the Meteor last week, and that one actually smoothed down as it sped up, but this one is a whole different experience. This is a classic type motorcycle for sure. They started making these in the 30s, and I think it's about the same bike even to this day. I think Royal Enfield discontinued the Bullet 500 a year or two ago, but anyway, it's really like a classic modern bike. It's you know, built to the old way. Anyway, very nice. I really have enjoyed it. And of course, this is his Ural right here. Okay, we are going to take this hot rod and go ride. Y'all have a good time. Enjoy. Take care. These motorcycles are interesting in that they're really kind of dinosaurs in the motorcycle. They're kind of like crocodiles are today. You know, they're from an era gone by, but yet they're relevant and still desirable. They are not the kind of motorcycle you want to use as a daily driver, especially if you have a long commute. But they are the kind of motorcycle, at least for me, you don't want to stop riding them. I just couldn't get over how much fun this thing was to ride. And to be honest, I wanted to drive it off the roads. This bike has 3 tires and a low pipe, but it just had so much torque, so much. It was very simple and easy to drive. It never wanted for power. It didn't have a lot of horsepower, but it had all kinds of torque. I had to actually go into 4th and 5th gear while going, you know, 10 or 15 miles an hour to get the thing to start bogging down. It just had so much low-end grunt. The more gas you gave it, the more it shook and vibrated, the more character it developed. How's that?
If this is mine.
I enjoyed riding it. The seat height, I can't remember what that is offhand. It felt a little tall, but it's such a narrow motorcycle, I don't think it matters. The weight is very low. I think it's a 400 and, I can't remember, I think it was 412 or 430 pounds, 430 pounds. Let's say 450 pound bike. You know, 27 horsepower, 30 foot-pounds of torque. Anyway, it carries its weight so low that it's one of those bikes that just doesn't feel heavy, even though it's got a lot of mass. We had to push it off its center stand, and even though it has a center stand, the center stand it's not easy to get off the center stand. But it's got a little bulk to it. The brakes on the thing, I like the brakes. You know, they are, it's a drum on the back and a disc on the front. Nothing special, but you know, the bike doesn't go very fast either. It's kind of the bike that you kind of get addicted to if you like this kind of thing, you know. Personally, I like the way the bike looks. I like the way the fit and finish on the bike. You know, I felt the fit and finish was very high quality. The owner says that there's some things that, you know, he was questioning, but he likes the bike overall. Actually, he loves the motorcycle. He does take it for rides on the road. I got a text from the other day. He'd gone 70 or 80 miles to some biking event and back, I suppose. And, you know, he does that every now and then with this thing. He told me it's really not the kind of bike that you want to drive at 60, 65 for very long because of the vibration, I suppose. He's done a lot to make this bike, you know, very personal and custom. Again, there with the Woodman Indian detail, you know, the pedestrian splitter and the brass fittings and, you know, the Buck Rogers tailpiece and all that stuff. It's a really beautiful motorcycle. You've probably noticed the Indian markings on this bike, Indian Woodsman to be exact. Indian made a deal with Royal Enfield in the, I think 55 to 59 or 54 to 60, something like that era, where Royal Enfield sold Indian motorcycles, and the cases actually were labeled Indian. This motorcycle is kind of a tribute. That's kind of a tribute to that era. Those were all actually bullet motorcycles, you know, from that era, made to look like this. Kind of a neat thing, I thought. So some of the specs about this thing that I found: air-cooled motor, 499 cc's, overhead valve, meaning the cam is in the bottom. It's over square. It's got a 90 millimeter stroke, 84 millimeter bore, 8.5 to 1 compression, so you can use, you know, whatever gas you can find. Electronic ignition, I already went over the horsepower, 27 horsepower about, and 30 foot-pounds of torque. This one has a 5-speed, with a wet clutch. The older ones had a 4-speed, and I'm told it was 1 up and 3 down, at least in the ones from the 50s eras. Chain drive, of course. The front suspension is, hydraulic telescoping forks like we're all used to. Travel on the front is about 5 inches. Travel on the rear is about 3 inches. Good enough. Drum brake on the rear. Spoke wheels on this model. I think they're all spoke. All the Bullets have spoke wheels. Nice short wheelbase, about 54 inches. I like motorcycles with that kind of a deal. Seems like lately I've been riding a lot of them with short wheelbases like that. And about 5 or 6 inches. I think it's just over 5 inches of ground clearance. Oh, and the seat height 31, 32 inches. And the fuel capacity is just under 4 gallons. It's a beautiful motorcycle. If you get a chance to ride one of these, do it. If you get a chance to go ride one of these, leave your checkbook at home. If you get a chance to ride one of these that are fitted, they made a trail version. If you get a chance to ride one of those, give me a call. I want to ride it also. It's the kind of bike that I'd love to take off-road. I think you could go to all ends of the earth with this thing. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. Have a great day. Enjoy life. Get out there and ride. Take care.